So I just made a connection here. I was checking I'm connected to our motor. So from pin 1, this guy here, and 3. Alright, so let's see the resistance there. So I got 17.4 ohms. So I don't know if that's a good reading. Alright guys, so here's my scope setup. The blue is our green motor A circuit, and the red one is our white motor B circuit. On our ground, as much as possible, on our good ground, which is our negative cable there. And I noticed that this guy is loose. As you can see that. Oh my goodness, I think our problem will be that one. So I'm not gonna do anything yet there, so I'm just gonna clamp it through here, and let's see our voltage reading once I start this. So let me just stop this, and then I'll set it up. Okay, so here's our reading. I'm gonna go back to our first few frames when the car's. So this is the time that it tried to start, and we got our reading voltage here. The first one at 12 volts, but my red trace is still doing something there. That's a ground one, right? So it's either the B circuit is supplying ground, and the A is the, what do you call that? The A will be the supply voltage from the computer. I'm not sure yet, but the way I can see it, this is how it capture. Same thing here, the last capture, that before it failed, right? Because after this slide here, this is the time when it just went to 0. It says failure in the cluster. So we got a 12.58 running voltage on the blue trace. Our red will be, there's so much spike on the red one. I can see here we got 2 volts or something like that, 1.9. So I don't know if that's a reading or that's a voltage drop, because we know that our we just found out that our ground has loose on the battery cable. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna try to start tighten that cable. I don't know what happened there. Maybe they replaced the battery. And then let's see our capture again. Okay, so I'm just gonna tighten this guy here, because as you can see there, my wrench is turning. Let me remove this guy first. Okay, that's tight. Let's just double check our ground. Okay, that's good. So connect that again. And then let's do the capture again and see if we got improved voltages now. first is our ignition on. Let me just double check that if we have the same ignition on there. 2.2, right, on our red circuit B, or the motor B circuit. That's 1.8. So it's the same as our previous capture during ignition on. Now I'm gonna go engine running. Let's see. So right now we still have a failure because I can see that it went up and down and it turns off, and our cluster is showing failure there. So right now my spikes on the ground side, or the red one, is still too much. But the way I can see on the blue trace, it's like it's going to the ground. Let me go zoom in more. What's going on there? And we got some dropouts. I think the best way for me is, I think I have to look for another car and then test it if we have the same pattern, or this pattern. Right now I have this one going almost to the ground. It's all going to the ground. Let me measure it. So it's almost going to the ground, like all the way to the ground. So I think it's seeing something. I'm still not sure what's causing that, or if that's normal. Right, so I'll get back to you. Alright guys, so right now I'm testing the GV80 because they have the same electronic LSD. So on our right side, that's our good known. On our left side, that's our problem car, the GV70. So first is, during ignition on, we'll just measure the voltage. So both blue and red are reading 12 volts on our GV70, and our GV80, it's the same thing, reading almost 2 volts on each side. But when it starts to run, I'm gonna zoom this in. And then I zoom in this GV80. Oh, that's too much. Okay, so this is the pattern that I got on our GV80, and this is the pattern I got on a GV70. Right? So it's two totally different patterns. Right? A red trace, as you can see. This one has some spikes there, but they're almost the same. It's reading around 0 volts, right? So now I know that there's something going on my GV70 problem car, right? So since I'm on the GV80 now, I just want to check our resistance, to just double check because I don't know the spec on that one, right? So here's my multimeter. So I'm doing the same test on checking that motor circuit, the A and B. So this one is reading 1.1 ohms. As you can see that on our GV70, I remember it was 17 ohms, but we'll go to that car and let's check. So I'm gonna go to this car. Okay, so we're back on our GV70. I'm just gonna test my test leads, so that's good. So I'm going for blue and black. So as you can see there, last time it was reading 17 ohms. Right now it's reading 391 ohms. So definitely we get some problem on our motor, right? So now I'm gonna try to swap these motors here, right? And see if we can swap it, or I have to check our parts catalog if that's separate or we need a whole differential. Okay guys, so we're removing the actuator, right? Since it's back order, I'm just swapping it from a good known car, and we'll see. So it's just an Allen. I'm using an H5. So first we're gonna remove the connector. So I'm just using a pick now just to lift up the tab. And then if you have the new part, just in case you're gonna be replacing this, just make sure it's ready, because there's gonna be fluid coming out here, so that you don't have to put or apply more fluid when it's done, right? You just have to put some, because I think these fluids are so expensive because they're LSD fluid, right? So there's just 4 bolts holding it. So the upper bolt on this side, it's not coming out. I think it's gonna come out the whole assembly, because one of the, I don't know, from the differential is blocking it. Just wiggle the thing. Okay. So let me grab the other one to prepare it. Okay. actuator is in, so we're just gonna put this shield here. So at least in the parts catalog, this is not the whole assembly, which is good. Because if you need just the actuator or the motor, you don't have to replace the whole thing because that's too much. And that's gonna be an expensive replacement. So I'm just gonna tighten this. Okay, so that's tight. You have the brake cleaner? Brake cleaner. So I'm just gonna put our connector back in there. And I'm just gonna top it up with LSD fluid later. And then we're gonna check our operation on this actuator. Okay, so we're just gonna do some testing again. We put our good known actuator there, or the motor, and then let's just check our voltages again. So I'm just gonna do ignition on first. So ignition on. Let's see our oh. So blue and red, the motor A and B circuit is reading almost the same, 2 volts. So now I'm gonna start the vehicle. Okay, so now it's starting. So we can clearly see the pattern is way different than before. Okay, so as you can see there, I don't think I have a warning light now. So I think this is fixed, so I'm just gonna go test drive this vehicle and double check our operation of our rear differential and make sure that there's no warning lights, and I'll just put everything back together. Alright guys, so after we put everything back together, replace that actuator, and also make sure before you do all those kind of jobs, because you can't really tell if you will lose some oil. So the spec for that is, they call it gear oil TF0870. As I can see on these pictures here, BMW uses it, right? And when I went to the service information, they said that ELSD gear oil should not be replaced or checked. So in our case, because we removed that actuator because it's replaceable, we just top it up for now, right? But as for the service information, it's not serviceable, the oil. So, but if we can't really do anything, so we just have to top it up, because we're not replacing anything on that one, just because we lose a little bit of fluid. So as you can see on our reading right now, on our motor current, we got reading of 1.0 amps, right? And we got our computed motor duty 11%, which is around that, the, what do you call that, the normal reading for these vehicles. So I'm just gonna go for a drive and let's see. Okay guys, so I just went for a test drive. So far everything is good, no warning lights there, and all our data readings are all normal, right? So that's it guys. We knew that we have a possibility that there's a problem with the motor for that differential. We're just double checking all the, what do you call that, the wirings from the computer, right? From the computer going to that harness. And good thing I got some good known cars here to compare. We knew that we have high resistance on those 2 pins on the motor. So I don't know, maybe the brushes there, I don't know. So we replaced it with a good known, and everything is working now. And I guess that's about it. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you have some comments, write it down if you have some suggestions, and that's it. Thank you for watching.